Hello, creative friends. This is Joy. So this is part two of the Alice in Wonderland little golden book journal. And this is where I actually do the decorating in this journal. So if you want to see how I made the basic journal as far as a cover and putting in the pages and all of that, then you can watch the part one video on my channel. So here are the cutoffs from the pages that I made or used in this journal, and I decided to use these for pockets and for tags. So I have four signatures of 10 pages each. So I decided that I wanted to do two pockets in the first and second, or the first and the third signature that has the pages in it from the book, and then in the second and fourth one that has no pages from the book, I wanted to do four pockets. And so basically I'm going to need 12 pockets. And I think I ended up with more than 12. But anyway, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, I actually had 10 here. And I believe I had to cut a couple more. Anyway, so I cut these down to the width of the page, and all of my pockets I decided I want them 3 inches high. That seems to be a good depth for the pockets. And then I just go through the journal like the first signature, and like I said, I wanted to add two pockets in this first one, so I decide where I wanted to add the two pockets and on which pages. And here the pocket was a little too wide. Some of the pages aren't as wide as others, and so I had to cut it down a little bit to fit this particular page. And then afterwards, I was like, well, I probably shouldn't have put it on that page because it had a pretty pattern on it. Anyway, I went through the journal and glued down all the pockets. So I had this offcut here, or these other pieces of offcuts, so I decided to make two little teeny tiny journals to put in the journal. And I just grabbed some printer paper to cut down for the pages inside these two journals. And then I'm going to use, and here I'm rounding the corners of this one. And then I'm going to use those other two little pieces with the hearts on them as pockets to put these two journals in the Alice in Wonderland journal. So here I got another piece of copy paper. I'm measuring how high this particular one is and how wide, and cutting down 3 pages, folding them in half. I guess I did 4 pages for this one. Folding them in half and stapling them into the little cover. This is what was left over, the little leftover piece. And then I stapled it into the cover. And I noticed that the back cover was a little bit wider than the front cover, and then the pages need to be cut down a little bit more too so they're not sticking out. And then stapled that, but I ran out of staples, so I was like, well, anyway, this is a little journal that I'm making. So once I got the two little journals made, I went through the big journal, the Alice in Wonderland journal, to decide where am I going to put these little tiny journals in. So I was looking at the first signature, but then I decided that the second and last signature should have these in there because they don't have any pages from the book, and I pretty much should need to do a little bit more decorating in these other signatures. So I put one in the second signature and then one in the last signature. So I'm just trying to figure out what page to put it on. And I decided that I liked it there on that particular page best. So then once I got all of that done, I have some printables here. I have some pages that I didn't use in the journal that I'm going to use for tags. And so I start cutting these down um, to the size that I want to use for tags. So since I have 12 pockets, then I need 12 tags. And so here I'm deciding on, how tall I want the tags and then cutting down the width of the tags. And so I ended up with six of the floral and then six of the um, red plaid there. So I tried to use my cutter for cutting off the corners, but I couldn't quite figure out how to get it to work. It wasn't coming out the same, needless to say. So here I realize that they're not the same, and I'm like checking, going, yep, one's like longer than the other one, and so I try to, you know, correct it by slicing off a little bit, but I decided on the red ones to make it easier myself and to do, make it easier. And so I'm cutting this down to the height that I want it. And these, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. I don't want all my tags to be the same size. And then I'm just checking how many I have. And then once I get them cut out, I decide to cut one of the corners off. Okay, so that's how I want it. And then I use that to cut all the other corners. So that way they're all the same. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just using that little piece that I cut off the corner to cut all the other corners. So now that I have all my tags made, I decided that I would just do one tag per pocket. I'm poking the holes in the tags with my hole punch. And I'm still trying to decide like how I'm going to, decorate them. What am I going to do to decorate them? I was thinking of using these free printables to maybe decorate some of the tags, but I ended up going a different route, and you'll see that coming up. But and then I, wasn't sure whether I was going to use these in the journal or not. But I did end up in the end using them in the journal, and I was debating on should I glue them onto another like pattern paper to back them with something, and I thought no, I think I'm just going to leave the backs plain, so that you can always like use them to write on the backs, um, a secret note or whatever. And so here I just use my scissors. I figure it'd be easier to use my scissors just to cut them out. And then I use a ink pad to go around the edges. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going around the edges of the card. And I'm checking to see, do I want to use that for my cover? And I'm not sure. So I have this Alice in Wonderland book that I got from Ollie's for like $1.49. And I was thinking about trying to tip in some of these pages into the journal somewhere. Um, so I'm trying to look to see like, is there a way to include some of these in the journal um, as tip-ins or something? But I felt like that it would take away from the story that's already in this journal. So I decided to put that aside for now and give that more thought. And these are some clip arts that I found online for Alice in Wonderland. And some of these are the same, you know, pictures and stuff as what's in the book that I, got from Ollie's. So I decided, well, I could probably use some of these to decorate my tags with, if they'll fit. So I'm looking at the different things that I've got printed here to see, some of these I think will work, but some of them Might not work on the tags, but maybe I can find someplace else in the journal that they might work. So here's one that I'm, thinking, well, it's kind of big, but I think it might work. And so I'm checking to see it might work on one of the bigger tags. And so I went ahead and cut out all of those, and I decided to grab some of my jelly prints and use those to back the pictures onto the tags. And I also added some lace and ribbon on the tags. And here I decided to do some lace on the edge of some of the pages. So here I have my Fabri-Tac glue, and I just run along the edge of one of the pages that I decided I wanted to lengthen, because you can see it's much shorter than the pages from the book, and glue that on. And I'm checking to see how far it sticks out, because I want to make sure that it doesn't stick out too far, and then I trim it off. And so I do that on the other side as well. And then I continue to go through the journal and pick and choose what pages to extend with a little bit of lace on the end, so that, some of the pages would be extended with some lace on it, which makes it really pretty. And then you can see it when the journal is closed. It's really pretty. So here's all my pages with the lace on them. Here's all my tags that I've decorated. My pockets are done. I grabbed some ephemera from my stash. I got all these printables cut out, and I'm going through and deciding to stuff the journal with the piles of items that I have here to put in the journal. So I'm just going through and deciding what I want to put in each pocket. So I put a tag, I put one of the ephemeras from my stash, I put a picture, and then not all the pockets, but some of the pockets, I put also one of them cards. But there's not 12 of them, and so I don't put one in every one, but I think every other one I put a card in. So then once I get it all filled up, you can see here's the journal, and I took some of the cutoffs, like right there, you can see, and added it to some of the pages to add a little bit more decorative edge. I made this, it's a never-ending card with some of the scraps and pictures and stuff that I thought was really cute, and put it in this little tuck spot. And so then I'm like looking through the journal thinking, that there's a lot of pattern papers here, and I want some more journaling spots, or spots where I can journal or write things. And so I decided that I wanted to make a couple of like little, you know, hidden spots for journaling. So here I cut down this paper to make like a little flap on this page, and I score the top and fold it over, and then check, that that's the size that I want it. Trim just a hair off the bottom, and then I take my Fabri-Tac glue and I glue it down to the page. And I decided I wanted to add this to the second and the fourth signature. I take a scrap and cut off a little piece here because I want to add like a little tab on the end. And I use my Fabri-Tac glue to glue that on. So that way there'll be a little tab, and you can, tell that it lifts up. And then I have some black notepad paper that I decided to cut down and to glue underneath this little cover here that would lift up. So I'm double checking the size of it to make sure it's going to be the right size. And once I get the right size and it's just small enough to be hidden, I decided to just glue the top. So I take my Fabri-Tac glue and add some to the top and glue it down and make sure it's straight. and then the second one do the same. And so that way I have like a little hidden journaling spot, with 2 pages. And then I go to my last signature and decide where I want to add another one. But on this one, I made a mistake. So I cut my paper down to the size I needed it. Perfect. But then when I cut my little cover down or door or whatever you want to call it, I cut it to the size that I want it to be, and I didn't allow for that flap at the top to glue it onto the page. So I had to get another piece, cut it down to the width, fold it in half, glue that to the back of this piece of paper, and then glue that to the page. So I kind of messed up on the second one, but that's okay. It still came out the same. And here I'm double checking my tab that I put on the first one, how big it is, so I get the same size tab on this second one. So then I take my Fabri-Tac glue, I glue that and put that on the page and make sure that's straight. I glue my little tab on there, which I end up over gluing and making a big mess. I end up with glue everywhere. So once I get that glued on, then I can glue my little pages down. That I want glued to this paper, to this page. So I double check the height of these. I add my glue, and add these to the flap, underneath the flap. So then I'm like still thinking about, I still got a lot of pattern papers in here, and although I have some, quite a few pages, here's where I decided to add a couple of these pictures to decorate the tops of these. But I'm also thinking about, like, I still got a lot of pattern paper in here, and I want to add some more journaling spots. And so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. And so once I get this glued down, so I've got like a little picture on each of those. I decide to figure out how I can add some more journaling spots. So here I'm just showing you a flip through of what I have so far. And again, I'm looking at going, man, there's still a lot of pattern pages that it seems to me like I really would like to add more journaling spots to. So you can see the lace on the edge of some of them. The little leftover strips I put on the edge of some of them just to kind of add a little bit of extra decorations on the pages that were just plain, that didn't really have any decorating. And here's the other flip up. And the last signature. And so yeah, I'm like, okay, some of these pages need something. I need some kind of journaling spot. I was thinking about putting something like that on there, but I'm like, no, that doesn't really go with the journal. So then I have this other one. I thought, well, I could cut that down, but I don't know, that doesn't really seem to go either. So I go in my stash and I found some stationery here that I thought might work. And so I really, and some other stick-it notes that I thought might work. So then I went through the journal, and not on every pattern page, but on a lot of the pattern paper pages, I decided to add either one of these post-it notes, if it seemed to go with the page, or I added one of these stationary notes that, with the birds on it, or even one of these um, notes or to-do lists or what have you. So here I decided to stack like 3 of these notes, so I just glue across the top because these aren't sticky notes, and glue across the top and glue those on, so I've got like 3 little note cards there. And then here I decided to glue down the to-do list. It's kind of big, but that's why I was kind of like, I don't know. But yeah, I decided to go ahead and do it. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll just glue the whole thing down. Covers most of the page, but that's okay. And then some more of them little sticky notes with birds. And some more post-it notes. And the sticky notes with the birds, there are some that like are different sizes. And so you'll see that here in a minute, where I'll put like more than one of the littler ones on a page. And here I'm stacking 2 of the blue ones so that you can lift up, and these can all, at least the ones that are sticky notes or the bird, ones with the birds on them, they can always be removed later if, like, it's decided that they're not needed or whatever. And then here's the smaller ones with the birds. That would look cute with a couple of them on there. I did the same on the other side of that pattern paper. And I just continued through the journal, and not, like I said, all of the pattern papers did I cover with something, but I did want some more, journaling spots in this journal, or potential journaling spots. Again, some of these can be removed later if need be, but it gives me more options. So that's pretty much the journal that I made. I hope you like the videos. And if you like it, you can give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, please, or questions, please leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. I always appreciate, people who watch my videos, and hopefully, you're learning something or getting something out of it. And so deciding on the last couple of pages what I'm going to do, I decided to glue 2 of these on this page to finish up the journal. So I appreciate you stopping by and watching my videos, and please give me a thumbs up before you leave. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.